economy began. Now, guys, before starting any subject, how economy began. Before starting any subject, the first thing that you need to know is how the subject started. How the subject started. ये शुरू कैसे हुआ? ये system economics का शुरू कैसे हुआ? अब देखिए, we are studying, this is a syllabus you are actually studying for UPSC, and UPSC has consciously put economy as your syllabus. Fine, it is a major part of prelims as well as your mains exam as well as interview में भी economy से question आ ही जाते हैं. So syllabus में क्यों डाला गया ये समझने से पहले subject को समझेंगे. सब्जेक्ट को समझने से पहले वो सब्जेक्ट आया कहां से वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि जैसे ही आपको वो समझ आएगा सब्जेक्ट के बारे में बाकी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स खत्म हो जाएंगी. ओके, नाउ हाउ इकोनॉमी स्टार्टेड. नाउ सी गाइस, मैं इकोनॉमी की बात कर रहा हूं. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट इकोनॉमी, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट इकोनॉमिक्स. देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू. ओके, आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट इकोनॉमी, हाउ इकोनॉमी बिगैन. ओके, हाउ इकोनॉमी बिगैन एज अ फिनोमेना. दिस इज माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. How economy began as a phenomena, how it started. Fine, economics came quite late. Economics came in 18th and 19th century, but economy as a phenomena was an ancient phenomena. With the advent of humans, it started actually. Okay, so I have this four lines of evolution from which we actually study the evolution of economy. Now see guys, economy actually began with the advent of humans on earth. Fine, with the advent of humans. Now economists, philosophers say with the advent of humans, these are the species Homo sapiens sapiens, and these species along with other species had the desire for food. But that this is the species that was actually able to survive in the long run. Neanderthals were actually our cousins. They were not able to survive in the long run. Why? Because they were not actually developed and evolved into a certain extent where they will be actually able to adapt to the environmental conditions and climatic conditions of the earth. And now Homo sapiens were actually very well adapted and very well evolved to actually adapt to the climatic conditions of the entire earth. Now, with the advent of humans, there was actually a need for food. People needed food. They needed actually food. Now, for food, you actually started, history tells us, the civilization started with the concept of hunting and gathering. We used to gather our food. We used to go for hunting, but gradually as our understanding expanded, we actually came to know that we can actually also get food by doing the agricultural practices. Fine, by actually going for cultivation and producing our food from the earth. Now with the advent of humans, there was the beginning of agricultural practices. There was the beginning of agricultural practices. There was the beginning of agricultural practices. So how economy began as a phenomena, it started with the advent of humans, and humans had a desire for food. They started with hunting and gathering. They used to gather the food. Fine. Then slowly and gradually we evolved into, after the settlement started, we started the process of agriculture. And this agricultural practices at that point of time, in the beginning, it was a subsistence. It was at subsistence level. What is a subsistence agriculture? Subsistence agriculture simply means it is the agriculture in which you are actually cultivating food. You are actually having food production only to meet your own needs. Fine. Suppose your family is a family of 5. There are 5 members in your family, and they actually require a food of 20 kgs per month, and you have a land wherein you actually grow 20 kgs of food. Fine. Now you're actually the total production of your agriculture, total food production is exactly equal to your total need. Fine. So this is your subsistence agriculture in which you actually cultivate food, you actually produce food only up to the level of what you need. Fine. What you need at subsistence level. So when agriculture started, it started at a subsistence level. Fine. Slowly and gradually, when we came to know that if we actually grow these plants and give them sufficient sunlight, we give them sufficient water, we actually plant them in a good season, there is enough rain, at that point of time we have a large amount of production. Say you needed 20 kgs, but you have 40 kgs now. Now this 40 kgs means that there is a surplus production, and this is what agriculture evolved into. Initially we started at a subsistence level. slowly and gradually we shifted to surplus agriculture. So slowly and gradually we shifted to surplus agriculture. Surplus agriculture. So agriculture initially was at subsistence level and then evolved into surplus agriculture. And this is where the economy as a phenomena began. Now you see, guys, you had initially your family of five needed 20 kgs of rice. They needed 20 kgs of rice, but now you have evolved into producing 40 kgs of rice. This actually led to a surplus of 20 kgs. Now, this is the food production that is a surplus food production. You do not need it for your own family, but you need it. Actually, you can use it to exchange with someone else. Fine. Now, when the surplus agriculture started, when you had a surplus food production, this led to the need of exchange. This led to the need of exchange. That means you had a surplus of 20 kgs of rice. You actually wanted to exchange this rice with someone else. Maybe it is your neighbor, maybe it is your friend who has a wheat production, who has a corn production. Now he has a corn surplus, you have a rice surplus. You want to take that rice and you want to exchange it with the corn of your friend, with the corn, with your wheat of your neighbor. Now, these are the four steps with which the economy began as a phenomena. With the advent of humans, there was the beginning of agricultural practices. Agriculture was initially at a subsistence level. It evolved into a surplus agriculture. And when you had surplus agriculture, there was a need for exchange. Now, this exchange is a very important topic in economy.